Things Musicians Don't Talk About is supported by the Royal Society of Musicians. Since 1738, they have been providing vital financial assistance, advice, and guidance to music professionals unable to work due to accident, illness, stress, or anxiety. Whether you're working as a performer, administrator, technician, or teacher, and everything in between, they're there to help. If you know of someone in need, you can contact them in confidence by visiting their website, which is www.rsmgb.org, or you can contact them by ringing 020 7629 6137. Support their work by becoming a member or donating today.
This episode of Things Musicians Don't Talk About is brought to you in association with the ABRSM, the Associated Board for the Royal Schools of Music. Did you know that ABRSM now do performance grade exams for drum kit? They've developed a brand new exam to help drummers of all levels learn and reach their goals with confidence. And it goes from initial grade all the way up to grade 8, features over 20 different genres, including jazz, hip-hop, rock, funk, reggae, fusion, afrobeat, folk, heavy metal, drum and bass, and even more. It's been developed in conjunction with drummers and experts and features new arrangements of popular tracks that you'll know from musicians like Nirvana, Green Day, Foo Fighters, and there are lots of new ones that you're going to learn to love from talented contributors such as Kaz Rodriguez, Vicky O'Neon, and Jason Bold. So go to abrsm.org/drumkit to find out more, and thank you once again, ABRSM, for sponsoring this episode.
Welcome back to another chatty episode of Things Musicians Don't Talk About. Hattie is knitting me my next concert dress. She's at my new house. It's looking great so far. That is actually...
Skinty queen.
Yeah. Ankles are on show. How are you, Hattie? I actually didn't... Did I ask you that in the last one?
You did.
Oh, I asked you how work
but
was,
I kind of didn't answer it.
Well, we actually ended the last chatty episode on a bit of a cliffhanger. Should we go straight in there or no?
Well, we can do our strife first.
Yes. So, we've introduced a new segment for our chatty episodes, which is taken directly from our newsletter called Classical Strife, where we talk about things that have strife does.
We're in strife.
We're stricken about it. Is that the same word?
No.
Well, we are also stricken.
So you are a touring queen.
Touring queen.
And I think there was a specific touring queen experience at a specific amount of time ago. Could it be a long time ago? Could also be quite recently.
Redacted.
That you said was quite shocking in terms of misogyny.
Yeah. I had this experience recently where I was abroad touring, kind of. And I was in this section and I was just really shocked at the levels of blatant misogyny going on to a level that I haven't experienced in many, many years. I would say maybe just post-pandemic or like just I don't know, it just felt
so
like...
you have experienced it like this before?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
you kind of thought maybe it had gone away now.
Definitely thought things had gone away now.
Yeah. So specifically
there were, I mean,
without naming,
I won't name any names, but there were a lot of sex jokes. There were gifs of penises sent to the group chat. There was just a lad culture, basically.
Were you the only woman in the section?
I was one of 2 women.
Okay.
The other woman was quite... she wasn't having a great time, but she put it down to her own stuff of feeling underconfident.
Interesting.
Whereas I felt like it was a direct consequence of this misogynistic environment, but also other misogynistic environments that she seemed to have grown up in, been educated in, all this kind of stuff. And I think that is actually something that I've come across with the students as well and other colleagues, that we often label something as underconfidence or low self-esteem, whereas actually it's just that you've had lots of sexism. Like, you've experienced lots of sexism and it's just beaten you down a little bit and undermined your sense of identity and confidence. It's actually not your fault at all. But there was a lot of talking over women, not listening to women's input. There just a general sense of excluding the women in the section.
Ugh.
Unless they found you attractive, which is actually when I posted that reel where I talked about my theory.
Coolness and sexiness.
Sexiness.
And you said that in order to sort of fit in, you discovered that your role as a woman was to be the funny one.
Yeah, I do this a lot, that if I feel like a situation like going out of my grasp, that I just have to make loads of jokes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I often err towards that way of socializing anyway, that I'll try and, well, I won't try and be funny, I'll just like, that's just, I'm just naturally really funny. But no, it's like a tool that I can use if I feel that I'm being excluded. And on top of that, you know, the way you dress can be a tool to be included, and intentionally or non-intentionally. But it was really tangible, this feeling of the boys' club. And I think there was part of it was that I was slightly older than the majority of the section. And I wondered if it was just an immaturity thing. But actually, even then, it didn't really feel like that mattered, because we were all adults, you know, none of us are school kids. And yeah, there was some sex jokes, and there was also like some Nazi jokes. It was like...
I've heard about this recently too.
Yeah. And I don't know, I mean, there are people from all over the world there. So I often find this, that I'm shocked by not necessarily other cultures being less aware, but just the differences in cultures whenever I go into a international environment. And it's not always that I feel like other cultures are less progressive, but I'm always shocked I get surprised at how much difference there is between. I think actually before I had this experience, I was already working on this podcast with a journalist from The Economist about misogyny in classical music. And it was funny because when I think I did the interview before I had this experience, and most of the experiences I was talking about in that interview were historic experiences. And then I had this situation as well, and I was like, man, it's still happening. I've still got plenty of ammo, you know, in the current day to be using about this. It just made me really sad. And I felt very, just wanted to go home.
Well, when you've done it enough, you're just like, no, I don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah, I don't need to prove anything to you guys.
No, I'm sick of having that role.
I just do my job and fuck off.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so there was that. Did you want to talk about your semi-recent media appearance?
No.
No, okay. Cut.
I want to talk about my depression instead.
Yeah, okay, so let's go into that. So the end of the last chatty episode, which might have been a couple of weeks ago at this point, you talked about being in a darker place, or like a depressive period where you'd had darker thoughts and that you were getting through it, but this is the first time in a while that you'd felt like this.
You can so tell you're doing therapy now.
Thank you.
It's all very concise. Thank you for summing up and reflecting my thoughts and
pleasure.
Experiences to me.
My skills are on display on a podcast.
They are. It's so good. I'm like, wow, okay. Story time. I went on holiday to Tenerife a couple of weeks ago, and the whole idea of the holiday, I'd booked it earlier in the summer, and I sort of thought it was, you know, commiserating this sense of, I really want to go on a romantic holiday with someone. Mm-hmm. It's like one thing I kind of think about quite a lot is, gosh, wouldn't this be nice if someone else was here? And I think about it all the time, like in the park. It's okay. On work trips, or like when I go to the beach, and like, I am now queen of being alone. I've decided that if I have a sense of wanting to do something with someone else, I will just have to do it by myself. Mm-hmm. And I will find a way of making it romantic. And like, it's only so far you can do that, let's be honest, because there's a dopamine and an excitement when you're there with someone else.
Sharing an experience with somebody is really...
Yeah, it's very beautiful. And romance, you can't really romance on your own as in the same way. I mean, it's just different. It's beautiful, but it's just different. So I decided that one thing I really wanted to do with someone else was to go on like a romantic sun, sea, sand holiday. Mm-hmm. So I booked myself to go to Tenerife because it was the cheapest place to go. And I got my own private little place right by the beach and my own private little beach. And just sort of had this vision of me, you know, reading and stuff. And I also wanted to go to a water park.
Which I found so funny, but also so relatable.
Exactly. And I love water parks, but I've, you know, in the UK, if you don't go abroad, the only one probably ever been will only have 1 or 2 slides. Do you know what I mean? So
she's a 3-slide queen.
Do you know how many slides this Siam Park place had?
7.
I think it has like 20, like over 20, maybe more.
Shout out to
Siam Park.
There we go.
So I went to Siam Park on my first full day. Had the absolute best time of my life. I kind of turned up all vulnerable and alone with my swimming costume. Just got my locker 10 a.m. in the morning, and I was
10 a.m. in the morning. I don't know why that feels like such a funny time to go to a water park.
But that's when it opens. They were like, you got to get there early.
Really?
Yeah, otherwise you'll be queuing all day. And I was like, well, I take this really seriously.
I'm a classical musician. I'll be there when early is late.
Honestly. So I got the bus to Siam Park, turned up, got my locker, just waddled in my swimming costume to the first slide I could find.
Incredible.
I'd had an absolute ball going down all these slides. It was like the most fun I've ever had. I was so in the moment. I actually could think of nothing else but the next slide and the slide I was on. And
I feel like that is so poetic. I could think about nothing else but the next slide.
On the penultimate day, I spent the morning at the beach, and then in the afternoon I was sat, like, we're looking at the sea, and I just literally felt this, like, veil.
You're like, no.
And I was like, this feels like I used to feel. Oh, God. And then the obsessive thoughts sort of started. It was very, like, OCD vibes. And I was just, I can't even tell you what it was about. It was about absolutely everything. Mostly it was sort of just a real big feeling that my life was over. I was like, I've literally just been in a water park having the best time of my life. Like, why now? This is so bizarre.
Your life literally can't be over if you've just been to a water park.
Like, precisely.
It should be prescribed by the NHS.
Waves and shit, you know? Ugh. Anyway, so I was just sat there just like, what the fuck? And I was massively started to be very, very hypochondriac and being like, oh my God, is my breathing okay? Oh, I feel really trapped. Oh my God, what am I doing? Everything feels dark. Everything feels scary. And I was sort of panicking because I hadn't really felt that way for like 5 years. And it just felt so sudden. I was just like, what is going on here? So that kind of went on the whole of the penultimate day, whole of the last day, got the flight back. Just felt like so like, oh, I was writing constantly about how I was feeling and just sort of saying like, I think I'd really identified that I had this sort of addiction to feeling very normal and very level, which I think is probably quite normal. If you felt level for a long time,
hard to let go of that.
So hard to let go of that. And I think I was really like grieving whatever security I felt like I'd had before. But then I was also sort of just like constantly wanting to cry, and I don't cry very often. So there was like this both the sense of like, God, I feel grateful that I'm like feeling this much, but also this is really scary, because trigger warning, suicidal thoughts. There was a kind of, not actively, but there was a very much a sense of like, if this is my life, I don't want to exist right now. And that kind of feeling has like continued, to be honest. And it's like, it's a weird feeling, ideation, because it's like, I find I can distract from it quite easily, but it's almost like when you return, you sort of feel it there. It's a weird sort of like, I find it very scary.
I think ideation is very easy to tap into once the gates are opened. It stays there for a while until you fully resolve that patch of ideation.
Yeah.
And then it dissolves, and then the next patch of ideation, whenever there's like a new log entry that you're like, okay, it's here, I'm back.
Yeah. So I think it's like, I know people find ideation to be something like really scary, but it is something that like I feel like I'm living alongside. And so long as I remain safe and, you know, I'm going to go back to therapy for a few weeks and like I'm sort of thinking about what's going on with my meds and stuff. Like, I'm happy to kind of be honest that that's a big part of like my experience at the moment. It's just like noticing this kind of ideation, and it's part of the darker thoughts. It's part of like just feeling very intolerant of whatever emotional stuff is going on inside. And part of that is that now I'm revisiting my part. I'm just feeling like very emotionally kind of ready to revisit stuff, or ready to... It's opened up a lot of stuff. So not to be toxically positive, but I'm allowed.
Yeah.
There's also a sort of gratitude of like feeling a weird creativity in the storm of it.
So how you said your meds and therapy, is that how you stay safe when you have ideation, or are there other things as well?
I don't let the story of the thoughts... I don't get carried away with the story. I'm quite pragmatic about their existence, and they're allowed to stay, they're allowed to live alongside me. I don't try and control it or block it or listen to it so much. I think I've really learned about thoughts and feelings, that they're teaching you something, and it's interesting. I find it more interesting than scary a lot of the time. And if I do feel like particularly intensely dark, I know what to do now. And that involves like, you know, crisis things. I'm not ashamed, which is a really like, it's a big relief when you don't feel ashamed.
People who are ashamed don't tend to like act on their safety plan, or have a safety plan.
Yeah, I've had a safety plan for a long time, and I haven't had to use it. But the fact that it's there, I find like really comforting. So yeah, I do feel like I'm coming out of it now, actually, which is a massive joy.
Thank you for sharing, because I like...
Of course.
Talking about it, I know that you're a pro about talking about it, but I don't know if it ever is not difficult slightly. You know, the classic, is this too triggering to put on the podcast, or how do you talk about these things in a way that's... It shouldn't always have to be productive, but like in a way that's not just like in any way glorifying it, or it's just hard to manage the words in a way that makes it okay for everybody.
Yeah.
So thank you. Like I don't know, you're just good at saying it in a way that seems helpful for you, and also I'm sure is really comforting for other people to hear.
But like I've only shared it here. Do you know what I mean? Which is weird, because I have told people I'm feeling low, but like it's not something in my day-to-day conversations.
It's so hard to put it in.
I don't want it to be. I don't think I want it to be.
Also, people are not like, people get so weird about it.
It's okay that they don't have to. If they want to hear about it, then come here.
Yeah. This is our personal journal.
That's so healthy.
Yeah.
I'll only share it
on a public platform.
On a public platform. There is a weird thing about that with me.
What's it called? Disinhibition.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
I feel it. It's definitely
something about we learned about online therapy and phone therapy, that people are more likely to share deeper things when they're not in person, even if it's just on Zoom or something. There's the disinhibition, I can't say it, effect.
For our main topic, we were going to discuss money,
because we love money.
But in terms of your own relationship with money, maybe that's a good place to start.
Yeah, we can start there.
Tell me.
Tell me.
Why is money a big source of anxiety?
Family relationships, like growing up, money's been a very interesting topic. That, I mean, both of my parents came from sort of lower income backgrounds and built their way up. And, you know, a lot of our, you know, the classic, that generation of just like needing to make more money than your parents and having the house and having this and that. But, I mean, my mum's spending habits were always very impulsive, and she would spend a lot of money, and it was money that she wasn't necessarily earning. Let's put it that way. Weird. I was always quite critical of it, even as a child. I'd be able to see her spending habits and being like, I don't want to be like that. She's so buys a lot of just disposable things, or things that just a very materialistic person that I never wanted to be. Growing up with eating disorders, that created a weird relationship with money in either buying diet things, or like, excessive gym memberships, or I don't know, exercise equipment, or that kind of stuff, where you're like, I will achieve my goal of losing weight, say, at any cost. But then when that turned from under eating and over exercising into binge eating, it would be the same process of like, I will fulfill the eating disorder need within at any cost. So I spend a lot of money on just food and whatever, and then purging and whatever. So never had loads of money at uni, even though I was working as a music teacher quite a lot, and my parents were helping me pay my rent. I was always very low on money there, and that continued for a long time. And then I think even when I recovered, or felt more recovered from eating disorders, that my relationship with money didn't necessarily change, in that I was then seeking something to replace the food or the exercise or whatever. So it'd be buying, I don't know, clothes, or just like things, but also, being a not very well paid musician, not a very well paid music teacher, so not having a huge source of income anyway, and then graduating into a pandemic where there's no work, and really struggling throughout the pandemic for money. And I mean, I got actually into a lot of debt over the pandemic, and took out something called an IVA, which is where you basically have this agreement with, I had like credit cards and that kind of stuff, and you have an agreement with your creditors that you're going to pay like a monthly fee, basically, for, I think it's 6 years or something, to pay off the debt. But then if you don't pay that, it is a breach of the agreement, and it's a bit stressful, but feels maybe more manageable way, but it stays on your credit score for 6 years, and makes borrowing any money impossible, and that kind of thing. And then having 4 years of studying counselling, and I mean, I was thinking
massive.
last year in particular, that I was I was dedicating 3 days a week to this counselling course for free, or paying for my course and paying for supervision. So just not getting enough income. And then I kind of landed out the other side of that, being like, oh shit, I've got to work all the time now and we've got more expensive rent here, and Stu's supported me a lot. And the frustrating thing is that when my mum died, I thought, well, now everything's going to be fine, because I'm going to have all this money, everything's going to be simple. But as of yet, it's been a year now and haven't received anything really. So
the IVA is now something that you feel is like going to f you over a little bit for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll be able to resolve it, or like pay everything back in the next month or so. So
your credit score is still trashed?
Yeah, it's trashed for at least, it will stay on my record until 2031 or 2030.
Oh my god.
But it will say like successful on
okay
it. So I can build up my credit score after that, but it's just like,
oh, Becca,
it's just been a nightmare.
That's so depressing.
And it's the thing of, you need money in order to create a healthy relationship with money.
Oh my god, it's
so actually
shitty.
Put away a portion of your income for tax and a portion of your income for savings, and then have some left over. Like, you actually need to be earning enough to live on.
This is the thing.
And this is what I've been really struggling with, is that every month where I might earn a little bit more and I put it away, but then I need to withdraw it the next month just to get by. But no, I mean, I'm hoping, like, my spending habits are a lot better. It's just that I still don't have loads of money,
This is the thing. And I often say to my flatmate Bella, who's a very low paid mental health support worker, and she's always kind of beating herself up that she's, gone over, or like, And I just look at her salary and I'm like,
how are you
like,
supposed to save anything on that?
Like, how can you be judging yourself right now?
Yeah, literally.
Like, I don't understand. Like, even with me having the most money I've ever had, a lot of months I'm breaking even. And yeah, you do obviously adjust your lifestyle based on what you earn.
But no, that the narrative of, oh, if you just don't have that coffee out. And I saw an interesting article the other day about how much you'd actually need to earn to feel middle class.
Oh my God, was it like 60k or something?
Yeah, it's like 60 to 70,000 a year.
Yeah, I've seen things like that too.
And you think, yeah, I actually can believe that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's an inflated number.
No, it's not.
And I think a lot of people do feel guilty. And I feel really stressed about, you know, how am I going to afford to have kids or, you know,
so
buy a house. And I don't, this is the other thing, that as much as Stu's been amazing in supporting me, I don't really want to rely on.
It's an imbalance.
Yeah, especially a male partner as well. You know, there's something so disempowering about being a woman who relies on her male partner who has a job.
You know, I'm sure it'll be redressed in some way, and probably has been in terms of what you know support him through as well. But it's still not nice to feel that.
You don't feel like it's not nice feeling indebted to people.
No, horrible.
Yeah.
And I guess that I sort of brought to this discussion about money, this idea, and you know, through music college, I had a scholarship. I mean, the expectation was, and still will be, that I had to entertain my donor. I had to, you know, give them, I had to sort of please them. I had to, and I've heard recently through opera as well, opera is very philanthropic. Yeah. There's a lot of philanthropy, and with that philanthropy, there's a lot of expectation on the artist to perform and to be friends with, and maybe even to do, I don't know how it can go, but I'm sure there are dodgy things going on in terms of feeling indebted to those people. My cello was bought between two charities. Every time I would meet with them, because I had to meet with them quite a lot. This was about 10 years ago. They would come to my concerts, and they would come up at the end and they would be like, well, I own half, but which half is mine? Like, that was the first thing they would always say to me. They'd be like, oh, I think like the fingerboard is mine, and I just was like, I know you're trying to be funny, but
it feels really like intimate and like a bit invasive.
It feels invasive. It also feels like this hasn't been given for sort of freely, and I know it's complicated, but it's just...
It reminds me, like, yesterday our landlord came round. I wasn't here for this, but he used to live in this house, and he brought his son round to, like, collect some stuff. And apparently he was going like, oh, you know, to his son, like, oh, do you remember this? Do you remember this? And Stu was just there like, it's kind of our house. Like, I know you own it, but, like...
I've had landlords do that too.
We live here. It's very personal.
It's really personal. They kind of don't realise... I think as well for opera singers, I can imagine, like, if your donor comes to watch you and say they've sponsored you for a performance, like, how can you feel free to be yourself when you feel so, like, watched and sort of almost owned by this
wonder
person?
Also, if I were an opera singer and somebody had sponsored me, whether I'd even feel like my body and, like, my appearance could really ever fully be my own. Which feels horrible. I'd be really interested to hear from any opera singers that...
Me too.
Might have had some... Like, if I put on weight... I think actually it would only be that way around. If I lost weight, I don't know if it... obviously I'm not in that industry, so I would have no idea.
No, I know what you mean, though.
But would you feel...
Your appearance
shame
was sort of...
or something... indebtedness to...
It's definitely something about the body, and I definitely felt that with the cello as well. Like, this extension of my body isn't owned by me, someone else has ownership over it. Very odd. The only thing that I own that really is mine is my bow, and I put all of my savings into my bow when I was 21, and I made that big decision to get this bow, and it's free. It's such a good bow, and it's so bouncy, it's so good, and I'm just like, there it is in the case, and I really think someone else should be playing it. And like, I just don't know, I just feel so much kind of weird guilt. Then my mum is so anti me selling anything, because I think she partly thinks I'm going to go back to it, or that I'll regret it.
That was the same with my harps.
And I'm just like, I think that's why I haven't done anything with them for 5 years, because I guess I felt sort of maybe the same.
You start to doubt your intuition about these things because somebody's even implicitly telling you, no, like you'll come back to this. And you're like, no, I know in my gut about this decision, but now I feel like I can't fully accept that decision, because what if I do go back to it?
Got a new our series with RSM is continuing with a name. It's called
branding.
Resonate.
We were jokingly going to call it The Breakdown.
I loved that name,
but it was maybe a bit too jokey for branding.
I loved The Breakdown.
So we got
instead
3 talks in the series.
Got 3 talks in the series. The first one is in November, I believe, on the 19th of November.
We'll put the branding, the poster will be out by then. So just look at the stuff we put out.
Look at the stuff.
Don't make us say it.
And the first one, I think I can announce, will be with Thangam Debonair and potentially another person that hasn't quite yet confirmed. But Thangam has confirmed, and she's going to be talking from her perspective as a previous MP, all about being a political musician. She's also very involved in the arts and theatre as a whole, as a board member of various sort of organisations and houses. So
we wanted to talk a bit, kind of what we were talking about in our last chatty episode, about how political you feel you can be as a musician in the industry, and also, you know, what politics and music looks like together in the future, or issues that musicians face, or on a wider scale, how we get involved.
I'm so excited about it.
I'm really excited.
Like, I had a chat with her on the phone, and like the whole chat I was just like
very excited,
because I don't think it's going to be an easy talk. Like, that it's not that I think we're all going to agree and it's all going to be perfect, but that's why I'm really excited, because I think there's going to be a few bits where we really kind of dig into stuff.
Great.
And she's very happy to be challenged.
Oh, really?
I guess she said she was very happy to be challenged, so we better get challenging.
And then the second talk is going to be about AI in the music industry and what the hell is going on and where we go.
So that one's in March
with Daniel Lewis
from PRS
and somebody else.
And someone else. Hopefully a kind of law person. That's what we're looking for.
We just have no idea. So we need to find out what
the legal
AI
shit,
is.
what's happening. I mean, it could all be could all have changed by then. Who knows? And then in June, final talk will be, it's a very personal decision. Really wanted to do a talk all about OCD, because as much as I talk about it, I have also had a lot of chats with other musicians constantly about their experiences, and I thought it would be really helpful just to sort of have it as a talk in itself, and you can be there as the moderator, because you're very good at asking good questions about OCD. So
that is like the correlation between
me being a musician and OCD, because it just feels like there are so many of us musicians who also suffer with OCD. And for that, we've confirmed Anne Denham to join, the harpist.
So exciting. So they'll all be at the RSM
headquarters,
HQ in Fitzroy Square,
Warren Street.
Yeah, very good. So that's really exciting, and they'll also be out on our podcast feed at some point.
Brilliant.
Yeah, lovely. Okay.
Would you like to do another win of the week?
I would love to do a win of the week. Might just have to pause here to think of another one.
Travelling. You seem so chill coming back from travelling.
Yeah, I think I'm just like in a bit of a... I don't feel completely here or there.
It's amazing. You seem very sort of, in a positive way, very detached.
Yeah.
Very floaty.
Maybe that's my win. My win is that I'm kind of floating around everything at the moment, and I was very stressed a few weeks ago, or maybe last week, because of legal stuff. And like, we're selling my mum's house, and there was a lot of paperwork for that. But in general, I'm feeling able to detach a bit from the intense experience of being stressed.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and actually being on tour, like, if you're not organising your own travel, you just know to turn up somewhere. I'm not finding the concerts too difficult. Yeah.
You're like floating.
Yeah.
You're allowing yourself to just float.
And also, you know what I keep doing is being like, God, imagine if I had to fit teaching around this, or imagine if I had to have this other placement.
I forgot about you ended your teaching.
Yeah, and like
Yay.
I haven't started my second placement yet. That's starting after Toal finishes. So it's all just kind of... Yeah, that's a win.
Nice hum.
Your win?
Well, I struggled so much to find the last one.
But then you came up with a great one.
Well, this is it. I can't think of anything else that's quite so deep. I've had this gorgeous cat staying with us. Fanula Ward's cat, who is a pianist, wonderful human.
The cat is a pianist.
The cat is called Tiramisu, lovingly known as Sue. And she's just like a ball of sunshine.
That's so nice.
Could not be more of a win in my week than that little thing. And Finn has already said she wants us to look after her a bit later in October and then maybe again in November. So
She's at your house?
At my house.
That's great.
So Finn brings her to our house. It's like perfect for a little cat. It's so perfect.
That's such a cute win.
It's such a good win. And like, she's just a sweetheart thing. And everyone in my house is getting so much joy from her. There's 5 of us. And everyone, it's really cute in the morning if you get up. You walk around the house and everyone's like got a shoe wedged in their door so that Sue can come in and out. Like, we all just adore her.
That's so good, because you could easily have a flatmate who's like, no, like, don't like this.
Exactly. Like, when I asked, I like sent a message to the group chat and no one replied, and I was like, oh fuck. And no one replied, and I like went around each person like, are you okay? They were like, I didn't reply because it's just so obviously fine.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know.
That's
like,
so unusual.
I know. I was just like, I don't know. But this is so
odd.
weird. Is just everyone is so in love with Sue. So now I'm like, we need to get a flat cat.
Yeah, agreed. You can have Fasolka.
Oh, Beanie.
Where
Do you
is
want to
she?
come live in
She's gone.
Brixton? I don't think she'd like Brixton.
No, she's not a Brixton girl. We also wanted to put out there that we would love to do a dilemma segment in our chatty episodes. So
I think we're qualified agony aunts by now.
we've had enough agony.
So send us, if you have a musical dilemma, a relationship dilemma, we can keep them anonymous.
Yeah, we can definitely keep it anonymous. Send it to thingsmusiciansdon'ttalkabout@gmail.com. We'll be taking submissions and we'll try and do we'll come up with a great name for it. Mentally ill.
The Depression Queens.
Debbie Downers.
The Debbie Downers. Debbie and the Downers.
Yeah, the new
Dear
band.
Debbie.
Cool. All right, lovely. Thanks for
you.
listening.
This has
Love
been really
you.
Lovely.
And yeah, see you again.
See you again very soon for another
Bye.
one.